Hello, and thanks for coming. And hang in there a second because I'm really going to go fast and try to say what I'm going to talk about so you don't have to wonder, is this interesting or not? And I'm wanting to talk about life, and then I'm not wanting to talk about my life because what do you care about that? And I'm not trying to say that my life is special or something that you need to emulate. And I'm not going to talk about your life because I don't know a thing about it. I don't have any details. So then what kind of life can I talk about? Well, I have to talk about the mechanisms of life, like how does life unfold? So then unfolding life, we're talking about human. And actually, we're going to focus on you and me. We're going to focus on just our small personal sphere. And the reason we're going to do that is because maybe we can make a difference in that personal sphere. Okay, there's lots of good subjects out there about all the world is doing so many things, and it's good to be informed, and it's also good to do your part if you can understand. Be careful with plastics, or use less energy, or whatever, or what. Be careful with viruses and so on and so on, everything you know you're supposed to do. And I'm not against any of that, but that's just not our focus, because what I want to talk about is like how does my life and your life unfold, and what are the links. And the one I'm going to concentrate on is like our doing. So we're doing something in our life, and then what's the effect of that doing? Well, just to make it very simple, as a definition, the effect of that doing is right here, right now. This is today. This is this room. This is this city I live in. This is my yard. This is my cats and dogs. This is everything that I've done has created my circumstance, my neighbors, my work, if I'm working, and so on, right? And it's even created my fridge and what's in it. So that's my doing, right? And so then, if I change my doing, then my circumstances are going to change. That is a definition, that's a link. You could say, no, my doing doesn't have to do with my circumstances. My circumstances come from all those other guys out there. Oh my God, they're all over the place, doing this, doing that. It's raining on my head, It's all external. And I'm just this poor guy and trying to cope. And we're going to tell you how to cope, At least I'm going to tell you how it works for me. And so personal doing, definition, doing is reflected in your circumstances. If you change your doing, your circumstances change. If your circumstances don't change, you didn't change your doing. Guess what? So doing is something we talk in a wrong way, because we say doing and not doing. Well, I'm not going to do anything about that. Well, you're always doing something. Get that, at least you're breathing. So then you're saying, I'm not going to do anything about that. It means I'm not going to do anything special about that. I'm not going to confront that. I'm not going to change my trajectory because of that other thing. But what I'm going to do is my default doing. So how many times do you do your default doing? And we're just saying, if you didn't change your doing, your circumstances do not change. So then if you're doing your default doing, you're getting your default circumstances. Oh, guess what? This is not, rocket science. This is just so elementary that, so then, I don't know. You say, I'm not going to do anything about that. You think you're innocent, but you are the prime guilty promoter of this lifestyle that you call you. And so then if it's a default lifestyle, well, I'm going to try to talk you out of it. And be a little more adventurous, be a little more courageous. And certainly there's some place where you want to change, right? Because, we want change. It's not like we want stasis. Okay, we're living in a great beach house, and we're great sunsets and breezes and drinking cocktails and having girlfriends or boyfriends. I don't know, but everything gets old, doesn't it? So we want some kind of movement. We want some kind of, I like to say that what everybody's searching for is clarity. Clarity. So clarity is about anything. I want to get more clear and have a deeper understanding. And life is kind of like a tool for clarity. And it presents us with things, and, well, we call them circumstances. It presents us with something new, often actually, and we have to handle it. Or, if we can call it a challenge, or we can call it a great fun, or we can call it entertainment, or what. Anyhow, so in order to be creative, I say, and I suggest you define that changing your doing is the way to do it. Okay, now how do you change your doing? Wait a second. I'm going to say a couple other things first, and then I'll get back into that. So we're doing talking and listening. And you're listening and I'm talking. And then if you were talking, I would listen. Oh, yeah, honest, I would. And I would try to answer your questions, or maybe take your suggestions. Maybe you got some good ones. And so that's talking and listening. And then what I also want to do is called reading and writing. So then reading and writing is pretty important for me. And first I want to look into reading. Reading. We think we read. And then we have our rhythm of how we do it. We look at the lines of the book or whatever we're reading. And maybe we mouth the words or not, And then we say, did we forget, or we forgot, or how do we retain it? And well, the first thing to do is to say, did it ever go in? Because you can skip over the lines. Okay, here's a perfect example. Like you read a line that's in a way shocking, or a new image, some kind of new image comes up. And you're mulling that new image over, but your rhythm of your reading is still pushing forward. Bumpity, bumpity, bump, line, line, line. But instead, you're thinking of that new image, right? And so then those lines, I think, are skipped. That part never goes in. So then, okay, for reading, I do note-taking. Even with YouTubes or videos, I'll stop it and take notes. And I want to make sure it's going in. Number one. So then, number two, I want to have a reference. If I want to recall this stuff, and I'd say, what did I see back there? Maybe I can find those notes. If I'm lucky, I have a lot of notes. So then we get to writing. Okay, I love writing, because writing, I'm not really an author. I wrote a book once, but I never published it. I want to write some more, and really, in order to think straight, I have to write, because, I don't know. Maybe it's just the rhythm. My mind brings up new ideas about the same speed I can write. And then I can look back at it and change it and see if it's right. And yeah, I do it. When I write, usually I'm going through it again and again and again, and always changing it. It would be a real miracle if I would go through it again and not change it. I'd say, whoa, did I arrive somewhere or what? Okay, writing. So anyhow, writing and taking notes. Well, okay, I'm talking to you, and you're listening, maybe, and you might be taking it in, but I know you're not going to take notes. So then, guess what? I took notes for you. So then it's called a PowerPoint. So let's check it out. You can't see it back there because of the light. I thought you could maybe see it, but it's on a white background. So, okay, your own process. What does that mean? So we're talking about your own process. It just means that you put into practice certain things that give you insights. And then, of course, the other way to do it is to read and look at videos and inquire and go to conferences, and other people tell you things, and maybe you try to put them into practice. And those ones, I don't know, they're hard to remember sometimes, and you put notes on the refrigerator and read them again and again and make a mantra out of it. And well, anyhow, your own process doesn't really have that kind of a difficulty in remembering, because you created it. It just came out of you, and so then it's kind of like internalized. So let me push forward here because, I can get stuck on saying too many things. I made up a bunch of words. And in a way, they're arbitrary. Some of the words, doing has a certain meaning, looking has a certain meaning. Looking and seeing, is that different? Okay, you look, but you don't really take it in. So then, and then other ones are just they're a mechanism for splitting up the conversation here and just trying to break it apart into parts that are easier to take a hold of. So doing is in your own personal world. We already said that. We're not going to talk about the international relations. We're not going to talk about ideology or sociology or philosophy or psychology. We're just going to talk about things that we can implement and see if it changes our lives. And then there's one thing to note is that doing on the inside is lots easier than trying to get other people to do differently. In other words, our doing we can do something about. If I try to change your doing, well, I can try, and I do try, but I have less success because you have your own ideas where you want to go, and I might have some ideas where I want you to go. And but okay, so then let's see. I want to make a connection or a link to say what you're doing creates your circumstances. I think I said that already. And the other alternative is that no, my doing doesn't really have much effect because it's those external factors that are constraining me. And that is what makes my circumstances. So I want to suggest that part of your doing is that you're receiving those external factors. So then you can receive them in a good way or receive them in a bad way. Bad meaning like it doesn't help you. Good way meaning like it gives you more facility. So you're receiving, you still have receiving, right? Even if there's horrendous external circumstances. So that's one thing to keep in mind. We're kind of going to want to focus on what we can do with ourselves, and not so much what we can do to try to change someone else. So then, looking, what does that mean? Okay, looking is what is the effect on my life that comes from my doing, and this is another definition, another link. I'm going to say this is the effect is exactly what you see in life, static or dynamic. It's 100%. Link, and it's an important definition because we say now there's lots of people that say you don't get any kind of result, and then all of a sudden things shift. Right? It's so many factors, right? They make it complex. There's a complexity going on there, and maybe it's true. And maybe there are lots of factors, and maybe they are complex and all that stuff, but that's not our focus. Our focus is the easy things where we can get a direct link and where we can make a change and then see if we can build on that. And then we're going to call that empowerment. Empowerment means I can build my abilities. And then in order to build empowerment, we're going to look where we're not empowered or where we seem to be constrained. And then we're going to say, well, is it true? Are we really constrained there? And let's look how we fabricate that explanation. We're explaining to ourselves, no, I can't do that. And maybe they're just spurious and kind of like, I can't do art, I can't do music. But that's not important. But worse ones are like, I can't get out of this poverty, or I can't get out of this little house that's cramped me up, or I can't do this or that, I can't get out of this job, or so on, so on, so on. So, looking and the effect, make that definition. That's the link. So then, seeing, what would I be talking about? Seeing if the mechanisms, what are the mechanisms that put my doing into action? It's all my premises, and it's based on my constructive thought patterns. Okay, is it really based on my constructive thought patterns? Constructed. Really, it's based on your adopted thought patterns. Adopted means like, well, they just came in through your pores. You're just emulating or imitating, or somehow you're in a culture and everyone does it and everyone says it, so it must be right. Okay, so then is it right for you? Is it the best for you? Could you be in a smoother shape and moving more at ease? And those are things that you have to look for yourself. And so then these are your, I call them premises over there, and then you can put a lot of words on them. And most people put beliefs on them. I hate that word because beliefs are imitating reality or imitating truth. You know, say, why do I believe that? Because it's true. Oh, yeah, I changed my beliefs. No, I can't do that. I'm not going to believe anything that's false. So then if you believe your beliefs are true, okay, beliefs, I'm just going to call them definitions. Okay, beliefs are things that are tough to change, and they're inherited, and they come from your childhood trauma or whatever you say. You know, you're making all these definitions, and of course other people make them too, and you're accepting them, so that's why I call it adopted. So then definitions are things you make up. Make it up different. Don't worry about beliefs. Get rid of them. So that's a good word to throw out. So then premises is another thing I call it, you know. It can really go into that, you know, because there's a lot to it. Premises are kind of like your measuring. Where is that doing taking you? Okay, this is just a judgment, you know. Is your current situation changing the way you want it to? Okay, that's a preference. Let's just go ahead. Okay, opening. So this is the best one, you know, and one of the best ones, open to experimentation. Okay, the definition is your life is your laboratory. So then, of course, we can't just change everything in our life because we've got all these obligations. So then we have to change something. We have to devote a corner of our life as our scientific laboratory where we're going to put something new. We're going to implement something, and we're going to put in a measurement system and see, you know, what happens, and see if we can tell the difference. And if we can't, we didn't really do anything different, or we did it in a whole shroud of sameness, something different down there somewhere. And it's not enough. Got to be a little courageous. Okay, that's the definition. Okay, my life is a laboratory. My life is my laboratory. So I'm open to that. And then I'm going to implement new thoughts, a new idea, new implement. Okay, and well, that'll implement a new doing. And then we're saying that's going to implement a new circumstance. And those are links that we're developing, and, you know, you can believe it or you can just... So I don't really tell you how to do it, you know, from your skill, inspiration, imagination. Tell you it's easy. You know, how do you get a new idea? You have to discard the old. You can't build a new idea on top of an old idea. It's got to be discarded. So discarding means it's not true. You got to... say, oh, what I believed before is obsolete. And now I'm going to update. Hey, we update all the time, every 2 days if you got Firefox. So that's how you get a new thought pattern, is by saying that the old one wasn't true, and that's how you get a new doing, and that's how you get a new circumstance. So then implementing a new idea. These words are arbitrary, but I'm just breaking it up so you can see. Judging, of course, judging, we're all doing a judging, and we think it's a bad thing. But you've got to judge the results and see if they engender a new behavior. And then the thing to notice is if they don't really change your situation, your circumstance, they're not really new. It's not a new... It's not a new behavior, it's not a new thought pattern. Or it's buried so much in the old that it can't really budge out, it can't crack out of it. So that, so then these can give you some hints, you know, like I have to go back to the laboratory and do a better job of it. So come on, let's go back here and let's crack some of these open. Preferring is so easy, you know, I either prefer or I don't prefer. And then if I don't, well, I'll go back. Or if I do, well, I'll go back anyhow because I want more of the same. So that's cool. And then this is a good one, noticing. And noticing what? Notice that these are authentic thoughts, and they're mine. I own them. And they're not the same as like secondhand knowledge. Secondhand is what I get from watching everybody else, from all the teachers. Take a hint, but then you got to go on your own process with it. You have to implement it yourself. You can't just use magic type definitions like keep doing this practice and then all of a sudden it'll pop. No. It's got to pop tomorrow. Something's got to be it. Look, everything is cooked up together. It's a matrix. And what you think is reflected in what you see. And that's immediate. I've seen it immediate so many times with words. You feel bad. Oh, my God. You might even be saying, I was molested as a child. And, oh, my God, sexual molestation has lasted 40 years. And then somehow a new word pattern comes, and that 40 years can lift off in 4 minutes. And I'm telling you that. I've seen it. I know it. I wasn't sexually molested, so that was a bad example for me. But anyhow, I had all kinds of inferior thoughts, and I didn't really have to work them out and prove that I wasn't inferior. All I had to do was say, hey, those are imposters. Those thoughts are not me. So then out with them. Throw them out. Are you kidding? It's so easy, This is the discipline. It's about your thinking. Because, so many people. I've listened to teachers, so many teachers, You have no control on your thoughts. They're just there, right? And, of course, they're not you, so you have to just throw them all out and go somewhere in a little corner where it's kind of a blank out. But you are in charge of your thoughts. Guess what? Okay, it takes a little bit of insight and attention to realize, okay, you picked up a thought, I'm going to put it down. You picked up a thought, I'm going to put it down. Don't say a thought just came. I picked it up because now I'm in control. I'm going to put it down. Okay. This is my advanced terminology. I call it a spark of an image. Okay, that's a good one, I'll talk about it later, maybe next month or a long time. Spark of an image, I'm going to share it with you right now. It's kind of like a taste, Spark of an image is before the thought. But you just have an idea there's a thought down there, Oh, there's 100. And which one is screaming the loudest, right? The one that says, oh, look back there when you were hurt so bad. Oh, yeah, you better rerun that one. Maybe you'll learn something. Spark of an image is just like when you don't pick up a thought, just leave it down there. And there's a spark, and there's a spark. Spark of an image, spark of an image. That's a real, that is like an authentic, brand new terminology that I've had it for 10 years or more. So that's the key to empowerment, and that's the key to running your own life, I don't even say control your thoughts, you author them. Author your thoughts, and your thoughts make your doing. So you're authoring your doing, and your doing makes your circumstances. So you author your circumstances. And you start in a small way so that where it's easy, where you can do it. And then gradually empowerment means that you can build this into more and more avenues and try it out. And you just say, this works so good. I'm going to try here, try there, maybe I can take it. And you don't have to take any risks, or you don't have to, you're a very prudent person. And let's see if I can wrap this up now. Noticing. Do you need to find your own conviction? It's your own discovery. What the heck? Okay, so what's your own process? Okay, I'm going to say it's a big subject, but it's not difficult. So then, in a way, it's big, and in a way, it's not big. And then I'm going to say it's simple. But, the way we're going to approach it is with words, because we find that a lot of limitations in words. And if they're not carefully crafted or carefully chosen, the connotations oftentimes are killers. And so then We don't have to prove those words are right either. They're not true. It's just a way, we're picking some definitions that lead us in a way that's more productive than other definitions that lead us in a way that's less productive. And then whether it's true, whether we can prove it, whether someone can disprove it, whether someone can find all kinds of exceptions, we don't care one bit, you know? If 70 or 80% of the times this works for me, then it's worth doing, right? And I don't have to wait for the proof, and I don't have to listen to anyone that says, no, it's not that way for me. And I don't have to deny anyone's experience. If it's that way for you, go ahead. That's fine with me. And I can even test it and then say, well, okay, I listened to you, I tested it, and it didn't work, so I like my way better. And you can listen to mine too, you know, and mine might work. So then, what are we talking about? Empowerment. We're talking about making some links. We're talking about definitions that go right to the point and give you immediate relief. And the ones that don't give you immediate relief, we're allowing those to be real and to be there, but we're not going to concentrate on them. We're going to go for the relief ones. Relief means just there's some change. Relief is another word with a connotation that means we're suffering or we're having a bad time, but it doesn't have to be that. It just means that we want to engender a change. Okay, we want to learn skiing or something like that, and we have to make some steps toward it. And it's not suffering. It's about enjoying and about expressing. And so maybe I talked enough. I don't know. But I could go on for, well, days actually. But so then, I want to make more of these things. I want to do more PowerPoints and do them in a better way. Maybe I'll do them on a darker screen so I can be in front of them and not, because when I go in front of that one, it's so bright, it makes me black. There's lots of things I can do, right? And I want to do theatrics. I want to do theater. I want to do all kinds of things, you know. I don't too much want to do, maybe I am already a comedian, I don't know. But I don't want to talk about frivolous things. I just want to talk about life and the mechanism of life and how you can change it and how you can live a more satisfied life. And if more people are satisfied, I think more people will get along, and then society will be less divisive, and then maybe it'll be more governable, and maybe we'll find people that can govern us in a better way, and maybe we'll have, who knows, could we ever have peace on earth and goodwill to men? This is the Christmas season, after all. Okay, well, I think I've just about expounded everything, so hope to see you next time. And thank you for coming, and thanks for your time. And don't worry about YouTube, you know. You got to get off. I'm going to go to, Odyssey. Get out of this YouTube business. Okay.